Hey, it's Team Rooney. It's about 1 o'clock for um but for Eastern time. I decided that this is going to be a live stream podcast today. I wanted to talk about the Astros and also about my last video towards once I get some more viewers here. So, the Astros, I'm getting them back to 2005 to show you their success, which was like their peak, but and why that ended up falling apart afterwards. So in 2005, they lost to the White Sox. On that team, for the Astros, they had Roger Clemens, Roy Oswalt, Andy Pettit, and also Chad Qualls, who was in his prime at the time, not so as good in his later years. They also had batters like Jeff Bagwell, Hall of Famer, Craig Biggio, I think he's a Hall of Famer, Ensberg, who's really highly thought of, uh, Osmus, I think it's a Hall of Famer, or will be, and Lance Berkman, one of the most had a ton of power and every time he hit the ball. Yeah, when they lost this World Series, I think they lost pretty badly. I think it was like 4 or 5 games. I should have checked. I it was pretty sad. I mean, they basically all fell apart. Like Roger Clemens was old. Pettit got traded to the Yankees. It was a whole mess, and yeah, a lot of these players were old. Basically, Roy Oswalt went to the Phillies to form a dynasty. That was shortly after. Yeah, this is basically what their peak was, and they weren't. And in this case, they weren't cheating. So yeah. Yeah, and then you jump to 2013, where they moved to the AL. Yeah, in the AL, that's when they first started struggling. And this is supposedly they weren't cheating. I mean, the facts say so, pretty much. In 2013, when they first moved to the AL, something was up. They went 51 and 111. That's really bad. It's like the worst record in the league that year. Certainly last in the AL West. Yeah, and then 2014 they improved by about 15. They improved by 15 games. They went 70 and no, by 19 games they went 70 and 92. Did not make the playoffs. 2015 they lost to KC in the division round. They were, I believe, and they were a wild card team going to the playoffs. So, and then the next year they just missed the playoffs. They had 84 wins. They were like 4 or 5 games back from the playoffs that year. So yeah, basically you're seeing this pattern. So basically you see how much they really like. Once they came to the AL is when I'm really starting this. But I wanted to show you the first downfall they had, which was all those guys retiring, and then eventually 2013 came along and they were just completely out of it at that point. And then by the time 2017 hit, they make it to the World Series and win. You know why? Because they traded for Verlander, and I don't even remember what they traded, quite honestly. But it couldn't. I don't know what they possibly could have traded for him. I guess Verlander was low on the market because everyone knew he was available. I don't even remember what that trade was, but but they also based on the investigation, that's when they started cheating. But even like you get one a guy who can pitch every 5 days, and you end up going and winning the World Series after not making the playoffs the year before, and hadn't made it to the AL past the division round in the year prior to that. And so honestly, that's kind of where I would think to first start my suspicions. The fact that, and also just like the bounce in the averages, which I'll get into later. In 2018, they traded Colin Moran and Joe Musgrove. Musgrove's all right, but he had more potential. But the thing they got was Garrett Cole. This would have never happened had they not been cheating. Colin Moran was batting way better than he would have if he weren't cheating, and so yeah, and so they wouldn't even gotten Garrett Cole unless the Pirates want him taking Moran if he's batting the way he does now. He was quite good with the Astros, well, because he cheated and he knew what pitch was coming. And they had him for 2 years. Yeah, basically, this was not to me. This was a BS trade. They should have. Had they been caught stealing, it would have been different. And then, 2019, they get Greinke for trading Zach Gallen, which is a steal. I'll credit them that. But this is the funny part. They couldn't win with Garrett Cole, Verlander, and Greinke on the same team, and it was really some of their last chance. If it was Verlander and Greinke's last chance, looking back at it now, age-wise, as well as Verlander's health right now, and they lost to the Nationals, who were, don't get me wrong, they had a great team, but the Nationals beat them fair and square. Still, though, that's 3 straight years where they made at least the ALCS, and in 2 of those years they made the World Series and won one of those. That's parity is not very common in baseball. There have been very few times where people have even gone. Usually, after going to a World Series, you tend to fall apart. You have that championship woes or something, whatever they call it. And I honestly think the Astros and honestly, the fact that they cheated and they lost because of that is pretty poetic. Now in 2018, let's jump back to that. 2018, the Red Sox beat them, but the Red Sox also cheated, but they had a guy on their staff that used to be part of the 2017 Astros, so they got a taste of their own medicine. I guess they should have thought through before not hiring that guy who knew how to cheat. I will say, in all of this, I think that it was a total soft move, terrible, just dirtbag kind of thing to do to sell out the Red Sox. I mean, the Red Sox didn't do it to the same extent, and honestly, I guess they. I mean, also, you don't sell another team out just because you're pissed off that you get caught. Don't make that a separate investigation. They wouldn't have said that if they hadn't been caught. Yeah, and then Beltran gets in trouble. I didn't understand the Beltran part. I get that players should be punished. I'll get into that later, but he should be able to become a manager. I mean, he lasted half a year with them. He's supposed to be a team leader. I'll get into that later in the podcast. Anyways, we got averages coming up, and then we'll go into all the opinions. So these are based on the past. I'm going to go over the last since the cheating versus now for each of the top 3 players, including Jose Altuve, Bregman, and Gurriel. I figured those were their best hitters. Rather than, I'm not paying attention to Springer because he's more of a fielder than anything. He doesn't really hit for average. I'm doing it based on the average. So Altuve in 2017 batted .346, 2018 batted .316, 2019 batted .298, and now he's batting .220 this season. I mean, that's pretty drastic difference, and I would be irritated just as if I were a fan of another team, just on the sense that they were that Altuve is. If I'm a Yankee fan, when he hit that ball off of Chapman to go to the World Series, I would have been. I'm probably more pissed now than I was when he hit it. So, and then we got Bregman, who's not quite as bad of a drop, but he was improving quite a bit. He was batting .284, .286, and then he went all the way to .296 last season, which is false improvement each time, because now he's batting .253 in this season. Not as bad as Altuve, but still, that's not. He was an MVP candidate last year. I think he finished second in the MVP vote. That is there is no way with that average he's going to make the MVP this year. or even any year really. You got Gurriel, who batted 2017 299, and then he batted 291 and 18, so that's a little bit of a drop. And then you had 298, and then you had and now he's batting 234 on the season, and he's supposed to be one of the best guys at hitting for average. This is just highly disappointing. This is just proof that they didn't deserve those championships. That clearly the cheating worked. I don't care what, if you say otherwise. There's proof in the pudding. Okay, proof in the pudding so yeah. So basically, my thoughts on it are the three teams that should be pissed off are the A's for always coming in second to them. This is no particular order. The Dodgers and then the Yankees, because the Yankees were screwed over multiple times in the playoffs by them, including they could have been in the World Series last year playing the Nationals, but Altuve. The cheating really paid off on that last at bat by Altuve, and they got robbed. And there were other instances like that. And the Dodgers got cheated not only by the Dodgers got cheated by the Astros in 2017, but in 2018 they got cheated by the Red Sox. That's another video. But since cheating began in 2017, the Dodgers have been the most screwed over, but not necessarily just because of the Astros. Even though that was a Game 7, they should have won that one. And then it's another story based on the Red Sox. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that this video. I'll go further into the history of the Red Sox and their cheating as far as steroids and also their just dirtbag players later on. So yeah, basically their averages have gone way down. I don't know how they're barely holding on to second place in like a really crappy division, like considering the Mariners aren't doing well, and the Angels are still close to them, and the Angels I'm not even and they're both like hovering around 500. So basically in any other division, pretty much they would not be in this playoff picture. That's my understanding. Well, compared to these wild card teams, at the very least, not very thrilled. So anyway, this turns us into our one advertisement. I'm doing this no strings attached for my friend, and there's this thing called Lena's Creations. I made a video on it. I put it as Lena Creations. But you can find her on Instagram or watch the video on how to access her stuff. She's gonna make my logo. So anyway, watch that video. And also my Instagram is in the bio, as you can see. So another part is this video for part 2. It's a little bit shorter. Is Altuve? There were reports, and I think Altuve even said it, that Altuve didn't cheat, or he didn't want to cheat, and they didn't really specify which one they meant by that. And yeah, honestly, like I said, these are stats. His stats have gone so way down that there's no way he would drop off that much if he hadn't been cheating. And I find that rather disappointing that his teammates are backing him on that. So they have no remorse, probably because of the punishments that they didn't get. It was just their manager and their GM. I don't know why the GM's at fault, but I blame the manager and maybe owners, because everything goes back to the owner. But yeah, I think we just saw one of the best GMs go away, and I don't blame it on him necessarily as much. Oh, I mean, he got Greinke and Cole. I think Cole was a sham, but Verlander and Greinke for a steal. So yeah, So let's see how this bodes well for them in the playoffs. I think that I'd rather have the A's knock them out or the Yankees knock them out, mainly because I think those teams should be able to get their revenge and just. I don't even think that they should. I think they should have suspended the players. And they'd have to use They should have done like instead of taking like draft picks, 'cause that doesn't matter in baseball. They should have had suspensions for certain players that were that were like the team leaders. Like we're talking George Springer, Josh Reddick, Altuve, Bregman, Correa. Those are the main. I feel like those are the main guys who were responsible to speak up against it, and they didn't. So, and Beltran was definitely one of the people. I take back what I said earlier. I think Beltran shouldn't be a manager because if he's involved with that, who's to say he won't do it again? And also, I guess that's his punishment. That's his karma that was inadvertently given because he was a player on that team, on one of those teams. Any questions or whatnot? Because and if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comment section. I'll wait a few minutes, just talking about how life's going for me, and after I'm done doing that, we can end this video. So I would say right now I'm still working on to become a journalist. Just finished up my homework for the week. Taking a great creative writing class, and yeah, that's basically what's going on. Just self-isolation, I guess, because occasionally going to the store. In fact, I got some baseball cards. I'm going to show you some of my baseball cards a little bit each video, starting next video, just to kind of show off how many cards I have that I've been collecting. Just go to Walgreens and pick them up. I don't really have valuable cards. I have just cool names like I just got a Joe Morgan yesterday, which is really awesome. So yeah, that is it for this live stream. Any last chance for comments? 3, 2, 1, end.